Look to your left. Now look to your right. To you, there is nothing there but empty space. Just air, maybe a wall. But if Padre Pio were standing where you are right now, he wouldn't see empty space. He would see a person, a living, breathing, radiant figure standing faithfully at your side, watching your every move with an intensity that would frighten you if you didn't know it was born of love. You cannot see him, but according to one of the most mystical saints in history, he is as real as the device you are holding in your hand right now. This is the story of the man who tore the veil between our world and the next. We are talking about Padre Pio, the friar who bore the wounds of Christ. But today, we aren't looking at his hands. We are looking at his eyes. Because Padre Pio claimed to see what we are blind to. He claimed to see the guardian angel, not as a cute painting of a cherub on a greeting card, but as a warrior, a translator, a messenger, and sometimes a frustrating best friend. Most people treat the idea of a guardian angel as a comforting fairy tale for children, a metaphor. But for Padre Pio, this wasn't a metaphor. It was a daily, visible, physical reality. And the stories he told, stories of invisible telegrams, celestial translations, and brutal midnight brawls, challenge everything we think we know about being alone. Let's go back to where it started. Picture a dusty, sun-baked village in southern Italy called Pietrelcina. Here, a young boy named Francesco Forgione, the future saint, is walking through the fields. To the villagers, he's just a quiet kid. But inside his head, he is living in a completely different dimension. From the time he was a toddler, Francesco assumed that everyone could see what he saw. He saw Jesus, he saw the Virgin Mary, and he saw a constant companion, a playmate, who never left his side. He called this being Angelino, my little angel. Imagine the innocence of that. While other children played with imaginary friends, Francesco was playing with a prince of heaven. He later wrote that this little childhood companion would actually wake him up in the morning, not with an alarm clock, but with a nudge, urging him to get out of bed to pray. Think about that relationship. It wasn't fear. It wasn't distant worship. It was friendship. They grew up together. But this innocence was actually a boot camp. God was letting this friendship harden into steel because the boy who played with an angel was about to enter a war. As Francesco grew into the Friar Pio, the playground disappeared. In its place came a battlefield. We often hear about spiritual warfare as an abstract concept, fighting temptation, fighting bad habits. For Padre Pio, the war was physical. He reported being dragged from his bed at night. He described brutal beatings by demonic forces that left him bleeding, bruised and gasping for air on the floor of his cell. And in the middle of this terror, where was the angel? In one famous letter to his spiritual director, Padre Pio recounts a night of absolute horror. He writes about those wretches trying to finish him off. He was desperate. He called out to his angel, and nothing happened. Silence. The beating continued. Then, finally, after the demons left, the angel appeared, floating in the room, singing hymns, looking radiant. Now you might expect a saint to fall to his knees in gratitude. Pio didn't. He was furious. He gave his angel the cold shoulder. He wrote that he shouted at him harshly. He asked, "Where were you? Why did you let them do this to me?" It's such a human moment. He was mad at his celestial bodyguard for showing up late. But the angel's response changes everything we understand about suffering. The angel didn't apologize for being weak. He apologized for having to obey God's command to stand back. He reportedly looked at Pio with a face full of grief, nearly crying, and said, "Give thanks to Jesus that he treats you as one chosen to follow him closely up the ascent to Calvary." The angel was teaching him a brutal lesson. I am not here to stop your suffering if that suffering is part of your mission. I am here to make sure you survive it. He told Pio, "I am near to you," confirming that even when we feel most abandoned, the sentinel is still standing watch. But the angel wasn't just a bodyguard. He was also a cheat sheet, or rather, a supernatural Google Translate. Around 1912, Padre Pio's superiors were getting suspicious. Was this friar faking it? Was he mentally unstable? His spiritual director, Padre Agostino, decided to run a test. He knew Pio was a peasant boy with a limited education. He knew Latin, sure, but he certainly didn't know Greek. So Agostino wrote a letter in secret, encrypted in languages he knew Pio couldn't read, specifically classical Greek. He sent the letter. He waited for the confusion. Instead, Padre Pio replied immediately, addressing the contents perfectly. When Agostino, stunned, asked, "How did you read this? Who translated it for you?" Pio just shrugged. He said, with total simplicity, "You know, my guardian angel explained everything to me." This happened again and again. Letters arrived from all over the world in French, German, English, languages the friar never studied. Yet, he answered them all. He told his superiors, "If the mission of our guardian angel is great, the mission of mine is surely greater, because he has to be a teacher and explain other languages to me." Just think about the implications of that. A barrier of language, something that divides humanity, did not exist for him, because he had a celestial interpreter whispering in his ear. As Pio's fame exploded, he couldn't physically handle the thousands of people trying to reach him. So he set up a celestial telegraph. He gave his spiritual children a command that sounds insane to the modern ear. "If you cannot reach me, send me your guardian angel with the message." He wasn't speaking metaphorically. He treated the angels like courier pigeons. One day, Father Alessio, his assistant, found Pio sitting in the garden, staring into space. Alessio walked up to ask him something, and Pio snapped at him. "Leave me alone! Do you not see that I am busy?" Alessio looked around. The garden was empty. There was nobody there. He asked, "Busy with who?" And Pio said, "Have you seen all the guardian angels of my spiritual sons that were standing in front of me? They go and they come, and they do not leave me alone even for a moment." He was in a meeting with invisible beings who had flown from across the globe to deliver prayer requests from their charges. There is a story of a man named Cecil Humphrey Smith, who was in a terrible car crash in Italy. His friend ran to a post office to send a telegram to Padre Pio, begging for prayer. The clerk at the desk looked at the friend and handed him a telegram. It was from Padre Pio. It arrived before the friend had even sent his. It assured them of prayers for Cecil. The angel had beaten the telegraph wire. The speed of spirit was faster than the speed of electricity. But the most haunting part of this story isn't about Pio's angel. It's about yours, because Pio could see them all. When he sat in the confessional, he didn't just see a line of sinners. He saw a line of glowing warriors standing behind them. Witnesses said he would often look past the person kneeling down, staring at a spot of empty air behind their shoulder. He saw the angels' reactions. He claimed to see them grieving when a soul was in mortal sin, and rejoicing when they were absolved. Once, a man asked him what he was staring at so intensely. Pio smiled and said, "Your guardian angel is there, and he's protecting you. Pray heartily to him." This is the deep dive takeaway. Padre Pio's life is evidence that the loneliness we feel is an illusion. We feel alone because we rely on our eyes. But our eyes are limited. Pio taught that every human being, the celebrity, the beggar, the saint, and the criminal, has a prince of heaven assigned to them, bound by duty and love to never leave their post. He wrote, "Never say that you are alone in the battle. It would be a grave injustice to this heavenly messenger." Think about that phrase. A grave injustice. To ignore them is to ignore the closest friend you will ever have. So the next time you feel a chill in an empty room, or a sudden urge to avoid a dangerous path, or a thought that comforts you in the dark, don't brush it off. It might not be your imagination. It might be him. "Invoke your guardian angel," Pio said. "God has given him to you for this reason. Therefore use him." If this deep dive into the invisible world shifted your perspective, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so we can keep exploring the mysteries of faith together. And tell me in the comments, have you ever felt a presence protecting you when you thought you were alone? I want to hear your stories.